everyone, welcome back to Sunflower Cottage Crochet. Today I have a video of a yarn review, and as the thumbnail explained, what I have for you is, sorry for the crinkly paper, but you know, I have a couple of red heart yarns to show you. Now I know what you might be thinking is, red heart. Well, some red heart is pretty standard, you know, the Super Saver. And some red heart is beyond standard. It's really nice, actually. And in this case, I believe I have found a couple of really nice ones. So, sorry for that. Notifications. So, what I've got for you today is red heart, an Italian story. I believe it's Luce. You know, I'm not Italian, so I'm sorry if I butchered that. What I can tell you is that this does have a very lovely sparkle to it. This is rose. Makes sense, it looks kind of rosy. It comes with a very cute little ribbon to keep the donut all nice and neat. You know, I call them donuts. Anyway, this is a 100-gram ball, so it's 218 yards according to this tag. It does have a dye lot, so you might need to be careful of that when you're buying multiples. So it is 46% nylon, 28% acrylic, 20% mohair, and 6% polyester. It is a blend of stuff. So one thing I can tell you is I actually have one that I pulled out the center here, and by the way, it comes out really nice. There's no snagging right with that, and it came right out of the center, like, here I am. But you can kind of see there's a little like white or light colored ribbon type thing there. Trying to show you, and it's so hard. Anyway, there is sort of like a ribbon, and I believe that that's what the sequins are attached to. And then this sort of like roving is just sort of grabbed onto it. So if you know anything about spinning yarn, which I know a little, you'd know that when you're spinning, the yarn starts out of fluff, and as you've twisted and released some as you go, it will twist around itself or whatever you're twisting it onto. You can kind of see it right there. It's a little bit of a ribbon. So that's what keeps this thing together, really. And I just found some on the other end. There's the ribbon right there. So the roving part of the yarn, the actual yarn, is what makes it the thickness. Now, it says it is a 4-weight, which I agree with. It is a little bit of a light 4-weight, but they know that. So they said you will need a 4.5mm hook. I do knit, but I am not the most fabulous at it. If I make a mistake, I pretty much have to tear the whole thing apart. Tink, I believe they call that, and start over, because I don't know how to go backward. So it calls for 4mm needles. So the swatch is a 4x4 inch square, and it is 15 single crochets and 15 rows. So what I can tell you is I did that because I wanted to be able to show you how it works up. So here it is. This is the swatch. This is actually right side up. Okay, first I can tell you, spot on with the 4.5mm G+ hook. This is a Furls hook, by the way. It's one of their streamlines. Super nice. This, spot on. I didn't have to change any of my tension or hook or anything. And I didn't have to stretch or nothing to that. I mean, it was spot on. Now it says to hand wash cold, lay flat, dry. So I did that. I washed it. I have that Euclid, whatever, wool wash. You could just use like wool white too. I hand washed it in a utility sink, cold water with that soap. Rinsed it out. I actually did the no-no, but it held shape. It did not change. It didn't shrink. It didn't bleed any color. It didn't expand as it was drying or anything. I set it down on my blocking mat and it matched the 4 square, and I just pinned each corner down just to keep it from curling. But I don't think it would have. I mean, it is, and it's super soft. It feels just like this even after being washed, and except now it feels clean. So and you can see after washing, this is the ball I crocheted from. It did not change color. It didn't lose color, nothing. So very nice indeed, because you can rest assured that when you wash it, when you work with it, it's not going to change on you. So, and the gauge is spot on. The hook and the yarn type is spot on. So in a moment I will show you some crocheting with this particular yarn so you can see exactly how it works up. Okay, hang tight for that. Okay, so here I am with that an Italian story loose, and pulling from the middle. The only real struggle I had with this yarn was making the slip knot. So and that time it went perfect. I think it's because I managed to get it between sequins. Now the sequins did tend to snag it up a tad when making the slip knot, but crocheting with it, it was fine. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to do some double crochets. I'm showing you the chain. I tend to do foundation row stitches, but a lot of people do chains. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So as you can see, the sequins are not holding me up any. Just my own nervous hands, that's all. Always a nervous person. Get a little more yarn here. Okay. I made a longer chain than I thought. But that's okay. Because you can see that not really struggling so much with the sequins or the type of roving and such that it is. But I think the stitch definition is actually really good for this type of yarn, this really fuzzy yarn, the mohair. So I like it. I think it works up good. It feels nice in the hands. It's not all super scratchy or anything like that. So one thing I do want to show you is if I chained up a couple and then said, oops, I made a mistake. Now I'm going to pull it and we'll see. It did snag a little from time to time, and I believe that was the sequins more than anything, but it's just not doing that right now. And right there it is. But there's a sequin there. You just give it a little tug and it will go. Now because of that ribbon inside the roving, I cannot break that. So it's not going to break if you just pull and pull and pull. So you can just, you know, yank it and it will come undone, but it has not popped a sequin yet, so I'm very happy with that. So on to the other Red Heart yarn. Okay, so the other Red Heart yarn I have to show you is an Italian story. This is Aura. So this is another roving type, and it is somewhat twisted, you know, but mostly just roving. It feels really nice. I believe it is 100%, no, it's not, my mistake, 60% acrylic, 30 wool, and 10 nylon. So it actually does have a little wool in it. You can't tell. Maybe a little. I mean, everything is dyed, but this is a dark blue. They call it noche, like night, basically. It does have a dye lot, and it requires a 10mm hook. It is a 6-weight yarn. It says to hand wash cold, lay flat to dry. So again, I did that. 7 single crochet and 7 rows. It doesn't sound like much, but it sure made a bunch. So here it is, all washed, very pretty. If anything, it got a little darker. It is still just a touch wet. I washed it yesterday, so it does take a little longer to dry than the other. It did not lose any color. It's got a nice, not really a shine, but it does reflect light a little bit. It was spot on, again, with the hook size recommended for this, which again is the 10 mil. Let's find this thing on this hook. It's hard to see. Yeah, there it is. Can't see it, but there it is. This is another furls hook. So anyway, the 10 mil, it worked up perfect. And when I washed it, I used that wool wash again, and it did not change color. It did not change shape. It did not change in feel. Actually, it did a little tiny bit. It's less scratchy after being washed. So that's only a plus in my opinion. So I blocked it, but I did not have to stretch it. When I laid it down, just flopped it down on my mat, it spanned across 4 and 4 blocks, which are 1-inch blocks each. So I pinned it to keep it from curling, which again, I don't think I needed to, but I did. And there it is. It looks great. It's just single crochets. So, and I know it's a really dark color. I'm sorry, it's what they had left. I actually got these on sale from Mary Maxim. They are semi-expensive yarns. I mean, we're saying from Red Heart, which tends to be a more value yarn. But these are actually quite nice yarns. All right, now I am going to show you me working up a swatch so you can see how it looks as it's being worked. And then I will pull it again like I did with the other one so we can see if it snags. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so here I am back with a better angle for you so you can see me work it up. But here's that swatch again. You can see it a little better with this background. Just wanted to re-show that to you. And this is the actual cake that I pulled it from. It pulled right out of the middle. I didn't have to go fishing. So I'm just gonna make, sorry, I'll do that on camera, a little slip knot, and no problems there. So I'm just gonna chain up a few. Whoops, that's me. That's my error, pulling too hard. Okay, so I got this tiny little chain, and I'm going to double crochet so you can see the nice tall stitches. And I'll tell you, when you work with fat yarn, it kind of will wear your hands out a little bit, especially when you're not resting your arms on something, because I don't want to shake the camera to oblivion. Oh, that last one, yeah. Okay. Ooh, so here it is, all worked up. Let's get that out of there. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull this, and we'll see if it snags on itself, which it doesn't. I didn't think it would. All right, I'll be back in just a moment. So with these two yarns, the Red Heart and Italian Story Aura and the Red Heart Italian Story Luce, I highly recommend both. They are not, either of them, terribly expensive. A lot of times you can find sales. Again, I got these at Mary Maxim on a clearance sale. They were really, really cheap for that. I think that they're reasonably priced to start with. So again, here's the swatches. I would recommend both. You know, you can do anything you want with either of these. I think this one would make a very heavenly scarf or raglan sweater or a cardigan, just because it really does have some nice drape. It still holds good form, like the stitches themselves are holding good form, but it has a nice drape to it. It is soft and it is very pleasant. This one, of course, doesn't have any drape. But it is a thick roving yarn, so it's not going to. It would make a good, say, beanie or something like that. Maybe even a really sturdy blanket. Pillows, things like that, I think would be good. If you did a cardigan or something like that with this, it would have to be done with a much taller stitch to give it a little more flexibility. These short stitches make it pretty stiff. So with that, thank you for joining us, and I will see you in the next one.